Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take a look at this here. So this is an edition of the Daily Planet that DC Comics released this year at the San Diego Comic Convention. I know I'm a little late to the game on this one, but I did not attend the convention, so I had to get my copy off of the electronic bay and get it shipped to me. And so I just got this in, and I thought it was pretty neat, kind of a cool souvenir for the convention, so I wanted to take a look at it here. So this is part of a bigger program that DC Comics is doing. It is the 90th anniversary of DC Comics right now. So the idea is they're going to do a bunch of stuff at San Diego leading up to the 100th anniversary in 10 years. So this is kind of the first part of that. And so I think the idea is they will do, one of these every year and kind of looking at a different decade of DC Comics. And so this would be 1935 to 1945. And we can see here on the masthead, we've got July 1945 San Diego Comic-Con edition. So that would mean, they're taking a look at the first 10 years of DC Comics here. So yeah, we've got the nice masthead here. We've got kind of the classic DC bullet logo that they've gone back to now. And they are kind of taking a look at sort of the history of DC. But here on this front page, we've got, a big article here about the Summer of Superman, which is sort of the current Superman comics we're getting right now. So that's sort of the publishing initiative with that. That's, of course, in support of the James Gunn movie and everything going on with Superman right now. And then we have an article here, Batman blazes into a new era. So this is talking about the new Batman volume. We're going to get it in September. And so, it's talking about the Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez run. And we've got some little designs here for Batman. And so let's take a look at the inside of the paper here. And again, this was something that was given away free to attendees at San Diego. So if you were there, hopefully you picked this up for free and didn't have to pay for it and have it shipped like I did. So here on page 2, we've got a letter from the publisher here. And then we've got, sort of a schedule for what was going on at the convention. So some of the DC panel schedule and that kind of thing. And we've got, sort of these old DC Comics ads throughout. And again, this would be, from like the 40s. So this would be period appropriate for the first decade of DC Comics. So we've got those kind of spread throughout the paper here. So here on page 3, we have comics. And so I think this is like a vintage Batman comic strip, because there's been various Batman comic strips over the years, and they've done different collections and that kind of things. So I'm pretty sure that's what that is here. I don't know if there's a date on that. Yeah, I don't really see one, but I have some collections of this stuff, and it does look a lot like that, so I'm sure that's probably a vintage strip. We do have a Spy versus Spy, which would not be the same time period necessarily, but again, it is sort of a classic, Mad Magazine thing. And then we have a excerpt here from the Superman's Good Guy Gang, and so that's a sort of young reader's graphic novel that's out now in support of the Superman movie. And then we have like a little Aquaman strip on the side here, which I think is from like a YA graphic novel. And so now here we've got an article, Heroes Rise in the Golden Decade, a chronicle of DC's earliest legends. So this is really kind of on brand for what, they're doing this year with the first decade of DC. An article kind of about the Golden Age superheroes. And we have this nice drawing here by Scott Koblish, which is a variant cover for the new history of the DC Universe that's coming out now by Mark Waid. And then we have this section here, Dispatches from the Future. So this is like an ad for something going on right now. So this is the Batman High Volume podcast that's going on right now. And here we've got like some more ads. So we've got Peacemaker Season 2, which is, coming up from HBO Max pretty soon. And then we've got a ad here for a Joker is Wild podcast, and a deal here to buy the Superman movies, and then a ad here for the Warner Brothers studio tour. With some more Dispatches from the Future here. Again, some ads for DC Universe Infinite Ultra, which again, they've got to come up with a snappier name for that. That title's a mouthful for that. And then we've got, a little advertisement here for the Go format, which is the, vertical scrolling comics that they have now on there. And then we've got like a ad here for CGC, where I guess they've got custom DC labels you can get now on your slabs. But then this is kind of interesting too. We've got sort of highlights of some iconic covers from the first decade of DC. Again, comics that I will never own because I'm not, made of money. But it's kind of neat seeing that here in sort of like a chronological order of different books that were coming out over the decade. So a lot of, classic Golden Age covers in here. Yeah, then here we've got, this other sort of period-appropriate ad from back in the day with a bunch of the superheroes. And then we've got this big ad here for the new DC KO crossover, which is coming in a couple months. I'm not too crazy about what I've heard about this so far, so I don't know if I'll be picking this up. This might be something I wait till it drops on DC Universe Infinite, actually, to read. It just doesn't sound that interesting to me. But again, we've got a big write-up here about it, and some of the titles it's tying into, or that was leading up to it, I guess. And so the back page here is to get autographs and sketches at the convention, which that's a cool idea, but again, I wasn't there, so I couldn't get that done. But overall, I think this is a really nice souvenir piece that DC came out with. I definitely wanted to get this because I'm assuming they're going to do 10 more of these. So I want to try to collect all of them. And since, I probably won't be going to San Diego, especially every year like that, I want to make sure I got a copy. So yeah, I think this is an interesting look at the first decade of DC. I think this is really well thought out and put together. My only kind of gripe would be it is sort of a thicker kind of paper stock. I almost wish it was just sort of an old school gray newsprint, making it more, period appropriate even for a newspaper. But again, I feel like this probably holds up a little better. It is stapled, so there are staples in this too. I don't know if that's showing up, but yeah, it is bound together. But this will probably hold up better over the years than, a regular newspaper would. So there's that. But yeah, I think a lot of good thought was put into this. Again, they are kind of celebrating the history of DC, but, we are getting some new stuff too, what they have coming out. Because obviously, this is at the biggest comic convention in the world. They want to promote the stuff they have coming out. And that makes sense, of course. And again, this was something kind of given out. So you got to keep in mind, it'll be casual fans too, and people just kind of passing by the booth picking this up. So you want to show them what you've got coming out. And if you just did this strictly about Golden Age comic books, that's maybe for a more devoted kind of audience. Not as easily accessible, for like the casual fan. So I thought this was really well done, and of course there's going to be ads in it and all that kind of thing too. It is a promotional thing for a business, so there's that. But yeah, I just thought this was really well done. I hope they keep doing this. I'll try to get all of them if I can, of course. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what else they do to kind of promote this initiative leading up to the 100th anniversary of DC Comics. Were you able to attend the convention this year? Did you pick this up? Let me know in the comments below. Or if you got anything else cool at the convention, definitely want to hear about that. So let me know about any cool finds you got. And thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter/X @Detective651, also on Instagram @Detective651. Be sure to check out my t-shirt store at tpublic.com/user/Detective651. I've got a lot of nerdy designs on there, and there's sales all the time, so check it out frequently.